because of their own discomfort with it. You need a doctor who will address your situation as unique. You need someone who will really spend time considering all your particular benefits and risks. If your doctor shuts the door on this outright, find another doctor who will help you weigh your options, or schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. I'll spend a bunch of time with you on this. You see, I always say peace of mind is everything. Peace of mind comes from knowing that you've considered all your options, weighed them according to your value system, and chosen the right management for you. You deserve peace of mind. Please don't settle for less than that. If you have severe endometriosis, it's less likely that your doctor will feel comfortable giving you HRT. Now, that's not necessarily because HRT will cause harm. It may be because HRT can confuse the situation. Likewise, if you have an ovary that is enlarged with endometriosis, which I've taught you is called an endometrioma, your doctor is also less likely to give you HRT. But you know what? In those situations, your best bet is to treat the endometriosis anyway. Your best bet is to get rid of it. It's always confusing when you have one disease already and new things happen that are difficult to distinguish from that first disease. And don't forget that anytime you have something like severe endometriosis, it's easy for something even more severe to hide inside of it. And when that happens, you miss an early diagnosis of the more severe disease because you attribute all your problems to the endometriosis. You know, you could have an ovarian cancer hiding in an ovary that is full of endometriosis and miss it because of the endometriosis. So let's say your doctor says you can take HRT with your endometriosis. What then? Well, do you remember the two different ways to take HRT? I taught you all about the two different regimens for taking HRT way back eons ago. There is the cyclic regimen and there is the continuous regimen. I'm going to discuss both of those with you with regard to HRT in the face of endometriosis. The cyclic regimen mimics your cycles. Your own hormones, when you are having menstrual cycles, involve estrogen rising in the first half of your cycle and progesterone rising in the second half of your cycle. Wait a minute. That's precisely what caused your endometriosis to form in the first place. So a cyclic regimen that mimics the same pattern will also feed your endometriosis. A cyclic HRT regimen involves taking estrogen all by itself in the first half of your cycle and taking estrogen with progesterone in the second half. And because a cyclic regimen mimics your cycles, you have a period. So you still have periods on a cyclic regimen of HRT. And periods are what made it possible to develop endometriosis in the first place. So if you use a cyclic regimen, you're likely to have continued development of your endometriosis. Or you might induce the endometriosis to build up and bleed. You see, it's all about cycles. It doesn't matter whether they're coming from your own hormonal production of hormones or they're coming from another source. If the hormones are in a cyclic pattern, it will further support, nourish, or develop endometriosis. Okay, so what about the continuous regimen? A continuous regimen does not mimic your cycles. With a continuous regimen, you take both estrogen and progesterone every day. There's no up and down of hormones. It's just a flat line. Because you don't have periods, there's no opportunity to create new endometriosis. But you're still taking the two hormones that fed the endometriosis that already exists in the wrong location. So you might still be supporting any existing endometriosis. Either way, there's no doubt that the continuous regimen is preferred if you have endometriosis. Do you see how this makes sense? Everything should make sense. If something doesn't make sense, then you're missing a piece of the puzzle, or there's more to it. Something is missing if you don't have the whole story. So the summary is that endometriosis may or may not impair your ability to take HRT. It will depend on your particular circumstance. And it's your job to make sure you find a doctor who will really address your details. If you do take HRT, the continuous regimen is better than the cyclic regimen because it's less likely to support and continue and aggravate your endometriosis. Now, that brings us to the end of our discussion on endometriosis. It's the last of 3 podcasts, but don't hesitate to go back and listen to these 3 podcasts in order again. And don't hesitate to go to my YouTube channel and watch the videos on endometriosis, because you always learn more the second time, no matter what. And it's really good to review this stuff, because the more you review it, you'll see the principles so clearly, and then you're able to use them and apply them whenever necessary. Education is everything. This is the end of the endometriosis podcast, and the next podcast I'm going to give you is going to be something that I call the WHAM. It's going to begin something called the WHAM series. WHAM, W-H-A-M. W-H-A-M stands for What Happens at Menopause. And basically, what I'll be doing with this whole WHAM series, it's going to be like 10 podcasts long. And what I'll be doing with this WHAM series is grouping things like what dries up at menopause, what shrinks at menopause, what grows at menopause. You know, you get the picture. I'll be bunching things together so that you see the common themes. So I welcome you to come back then to start the WHAM series. And in the meantime, please visit my website. It's a great place to go, and it will entertain you tremendously with so much education and so many educational resources. No matter how you learn, no matter what you like to do to get your education, it's there for you. I've got it all. The book, I've got a DVD with the whole education, webinars, articles, my YouTube channel, and also one-on-one consultations are where I basically tailor everything to you in addition to giving you the whole education. And that is where you really, really get the tailoring and the personalization of everything. And that's the silver lining. That's the best thing you can get. It's easy to have a one-on-one consultation. I do them by video conferencing with women all over the world. You just schedule it on my website, and then I invite you to send me as much information about you as you wish, and I will include all of it in the consultation, and I'll make a document for you addressing all the issues you want to discuss. It's really, really the best way to get a huge foundation and a very good personalized education. So go to my website, menopausetailor.me. Please come back for the next podcast to start the WHAM series, and I will talk to you again then. Bye for now.